Yes, that is a German World War II submarine. Welcome to the restaurant and welcome to part 2 of our German submarine harbor explorer. If you haven't already, please check out a link in the video description for part 1. It will give you a much better context and you kind of get a bit better grip of what's going on here. It's all about the German submarines, the German submarine crews, some, well, rather special things going on there as well. Maybe we'll have a little look at that. That's actually something that took place here. So rather interesting if you ask me. If you want to help us out, we do a lot of research, travel, and we spend a lot of time doing this. Give us a courtesy to at least give us a thumbs up, little comment. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell and allow that to come through, you can enjoy hundreds of our adventures that we have done for the audience for like 10 years now. So we do appreciate that. And don't forget, it's just a little comment and a little thumbs up and the algorithm will be in our favor and we can kind of go out there and do more for more people to enjoy. Well, this place, as I said, is fascinating. Now in part 2, we're going to continue. We're going to go up to a little peninsula, which is just above the harbor itself. And we're going to find some small secrets there. And we are sharing it with you right now. So thank you for being here. Thank you to all my incredible Patreon and PayPal supporters. You are actually the guys and girls who comes through to help us out with this. So if you want to check out the videos in the beginning of each month, and you can see how you can become a team member with special perks like for your eyes only video, travel project, travel vlogs, restoration project, and all of that good stuff. So check it out if you want to. But now, let's go out and see what part 2 is all about. This is the view from above. If a Allied aircraft would come in here, they would strafe in, up again. They could come in from here, but there were heavy flak anti-aircraft gun positions further out here. So we were there at the spot where the net was, going over there to where the ferry comes. And you imagine how much secrecy there must have been around this complex here, because they worked on something really, really special here.
All the way on there.
Yeah, we were all the way up on the top there. That's a heavy duty.
There was the place.
Yeah, so
All the way over there.
a lot of cycling involved. But imagine the sheer secrecy of activity going on down there. This was totally desolated with no houses, nothing, just a tiny little harbor. And the Germans knew that this is hidden away. The Allied won't know it or see it, so they tried to keep it as secret as possible. And there were often also camouflage canvas stretched on top of the subs and all of that. While we're walking here, I'm going to tell you about something that they had here. Late in the war, the research was going on at this location for developing a system for blind shooting torpedoes. And it was called Sonderapparat, SU-Apparat, Nibelung. And the Nibelung was a device that had the latest sensors being installed on the latest torpedoes and coupled up with acoustic torpedo. It will enable the boat to launch its torpedoes blind from up of a depth of 50 meters. So the SU-Apparat Special Apparatus for U-boats functions as an active passive sonar, and it consists of 2 basic elements, a hydrophone and a sonar device. And once the hydrophone picked up the bearing of a surface vessel, the sonar would ping in that direction to determine the range. Up to 3 short pulses may be needed, which then plotted together enable the operator to determine the target speed, range and direction. And an acoustic torpedo could be programmed and fired at the target. Maximum range 4,000 meters, and it also depended on the sea conditions. So that is fantastic, and that actually took place right here. Alright, so now we are on the other side, and this is where the Germans had a few installations. First of all, they had anti-aircraft gun positions here to protect the U-boat base, and they were on this side because this is the closest towards the ocean and where the aircraft kind of line of sight would be for them to attack this place. So what we are going to do is that we are going to find as many of these as possible, and then we're going to go down to where the net kind of came in on the other side, and we're going to see the features down there. It's not easy to see, but there are actually several running trenches in the terrain. One starts actually right here, goes down there, goes over to the right, so there might be something interesting there. I'm out of breath, so be with me, or bear with me. Why? Well, we have walked for 4 hours already, so and ride the bike for so long, so hope you excuse us for that. This is anti-aircraft gun position. I think they could have had the rangefinder right there.
It's like a Madsen.
Could have been a Madsen or Olicon, I'm not sure. But definitely a very, very idyllic, look at that, beautiful spot for this gun location. And there are some, can I switch place with you over here?
Can I get your shadow?
So this is what it looks like from the top. And you can see that was most likely communication equipment being there. And then, so anything from 20 millimeter, I do think they had 6 20 millimeters here, but they were also very often also just placed in the terrain and dragged around and moved and shuffled so that the ally wouldn't get them. But this one seems to have been very stationary, so that's at least one position that we can identify and see was fully German, made for the Germans and by the Germans. Be careful. Ooh. So we found some barrack foundations, so let's go down there. Typical Barracks laid out here in the terrain. This is where the German soldier had his home away from home, and that is a special place for me. I don't care if it's English, French, German, Russian, Italian, I don't mind. It doesn't matter for me. It's a single human being is kind of what matters for me, and that's why I do this, go out, find history and share history so you can have the same experiences that we have. And me and Eagle Eyes, we are on this insane road trip, traveling to so many places during a few weeks, and this is one of them. And then in this way we can share with you. So appreciate if you give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that. And to our Patreon, PayPal supporters, thank you immensely for being in this for us, but we can actually go out and do stuff like this. Thank you for that. Barrack foundation, imagine a huge wooden structure here, like a house. Soldiers living in there, had their living quarters, and all of that was there. And then on the top there is something, I'm not quite sure, but that could be also a second anti-aircraft gun position. So let's head on down to the barrack and check them out a little bit more. It's exciting to think that the German Kriegsmarine U-boat crews were here. Since I served as a sonar operator, I've always been fascinated by, you know, the subs, the U-boat history, and all of what that kind of brings, the mystique and the legends. Not much of that here, just bricks and rotten wood and some metal pieces laying around, but hey, this is just where the German soldier had their place to stay. There's a plastic bottle, not that interesting. There was a glass and a little sign underneath saying .7 Liter DD. You know, it was German brewery. That would be exciting. At least we walked in one of the barracks. That's very, very cool. All right, on the top, there are also reports of highly experimental submarines visiting this harbor. In at least 2 occasions, there has been some very, very strange and secret action going on. And I've seen one of the reports naming some kind of new designed mini sub being brought here by a battleship and then tested out in the area. I really don't know what that is all about, but it's noted. So staircase, and I think we found a second of the, this is the munition storage on the side, and on the top here we have the second gun position. Look at where it is placed. Holy cow, it has such an incredible view. You can go down there, we're going that way. Insane. So I'm guessing this is where they once upon a time, they had 6 flak 38s here like this. So I'm gonna go for that. But there's a cooling tub here, and that is much longer than the regular cooling tub for the flak 38. So could be Olicon and Madsen as well. Maybe the extra barrels were stored under there, maybe a rangefinder, communication slot there, definitely munition with some hinges and door, and of course this is the base. So down there is basically the end of the line, you could say. This is the outmost position, and you remember over there, that's where the cable, the net was attached to the mountainside, and that stretched over here to this position right here. We are going to go down and find out exactly where that came in. That is interesting. We just came across this thing here. Was that ever a piece coming from a German submarine? I really couldn't tell. Wow. That is exciting. If you have any clue, let me know. You can see there's some kind of screw-on thing there. Interesting. We just found this fantastic special spot where the net was, but I want to share a little story with you. One eyewitness from this area. This is very, very special if it's true, but there's no confirmation like military reports or anything like that. But there are actually several eyewitnesses, and one elderly gentleman that lives here, they observed this Flettner FL-282 Colibri helicopter in the area and landing in the fields next to the submarine base. And that is incredible special, because this thing was so advanced and so special, and knowing that it was here, that is just crazy. This thing here had a length of about 7.5 meters, weighed 760 kilos, had a 7-cylinder air-cooled radial engine with 160 horsepower, 150 kilometers per hour, range about 170 kilometers. And it was normally used to ferrying items between ships and doing reconnaissance. And the special thing is that a warship actually brought that here. That is the rumors. And they tested it here. So it was very secluded, very secret. And they flew from a couple of fields around here. Then, as the story goes, this was dismantled and put into a boat at this position. And this gentleman's uncle or whoever it was actually taking part and was hired crews to do some of this work. So it's an amazing story, but just imagine standing on the hillsides here and seeing that thing here also amongst the U-boats. That would have been absolutely crazy. It's one of the first helicopters in the world, that's correct. Very, very cool story, and I tend to believe it. I think maybe we have found some kind of full context here. Okay, let me see. There are some huge attachments here, which are not mooring points. There's another one there, which is probably a mooring point. But this thing here is in straight line. Right there is where the cable came in. And I think they attached some kind of mechanism, a winch, something like that here. And then there would have been some bars coming up because they needed to pull it straight in this direction here. So let me go on the top of this. And since they made it so rigid, I would say there would be a winch here attached to this arrangement here. And there would be a kind of like a pulley thing, maybe to just get over that little top there. There's a little dip in the mountain there. And then as the submarines came in from here, they would come in here, the net will be lowered. And was weighted, so when the net was lowered, the subs could go in the middle, just pass it. The subs went in there, were safe, and then net was pulled up again in straight line from where we were over there to here. And in that way, this is why this arrangement is there. And it's strongly built into the mountainside. And I think that was the purpose. So maybe right here is where the soldier who operated that machinery stepped in here. The arrangement was here on a metal pedestal with maybe a generator running this engine, or maybe a diesel engine cranking up, and then woo, pulling that net. And for me, that is such an incredible piece of the story, because it's so rare, and someone's actually says that parts of the net is still down there. I haven't got a clue, and that camera goes in and out and in and out. That's okay. I don't know if that is true, but we found it. We found the German submarine base, the practice and training base they had. We started way over there. We rode the bikes all the way up in the hillside, down an insane road, all the way down there. We found that little spot where that attachment point is. That was where the net was attached. We found the harbor. We found the anti-aircraft gun positions protecting the area. We found the barracks. We found the winch position. And we found the place where the German submarine base once upon a time was. Indeed, the German submarine base was just there, and indeed we shared it with all of you, and it was a true pleasure and honor. Hope you would consider, as I said, to give it a thumbs up, a comment, a like, subscribe, and check out our videos in the beginning of each month for our supporters, and you can learn a little bit more about that. The more support we get, the more crazy stuff we go out and share with you, and I can promise you, the submarine adventures are not over. As I said, I have a strong passion for this, and you will definitely see that in the future as well. Thank you again for being with us. Definitely see you out there in the next one. So please, everybody, keep safe, keep smiling. I'll meet you out there in the next one.